On our first show for year 2021, we have a very special guest on our show. He is a proud product of St. Peter's College, Colombo 4, led the Young Tuskers to their first ever title at the Asia Rugby Sevens in 2016, and he is considered to be one of the top most promising rugby players in the country. He is none other than Kevin Dixon, fondly called as Kutti by the loving fraternity of rugby in Sri Lanka. Thank you very much, Kevin, for accepting my invitation to feature on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Talk to me, how did you manage to land up with the name Kutti?
Kutti. That is the hardest question for getting me here to the first place. Kutti, it's the hardest task. Kutti is a name called, so Kutti means it's more lovable and a small guy in Tamil. So my teammates and my friends and everyone and more loving me persons are call me Kutti. So that's how the names came up.
I have a lot of things to ask from you, Kevin, but first things first. There's always a bitter sweet story for any person who is successful in their life. What is your story?
Age of 11 I started rugby at St. Peter's College. So before I started rugby, my brother started rugby. So that's how I got into the rugby. And once when me and my mom went to my brother's match to watch the match, then coach asked me to come and play for the rugby matches, and then only I got entered into the rugby career. So that's how it started for me in the rugby career. And from there I played under I started playing in the team in under 30, and I started playing, it was under 16 and 18 and 19, and I started my first 15 career at age of 16 in my first 15 career. So I played 4 years for my school. So wearing St. Peter's jersey is the biggest dream that I had from small ages when I'm starting rugby. So that blue, white and gold jerseys means a lot to me, more than anything in my life. And I started playing for Sri Lanka age of under 18. So I captained under 18 Asian Youth Games on 2013, and from there I continued for under 19 and under 20 and under 21. So after that I just straight entered into 15-a-side tournaments in Sri Lanka, and I started playing sevens for nationals.
So from the time that you started playing rugby at your school up until the time that you started playing for Sri Lanka, you must have faced numerous challenges along the way.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the roadblocks that you had along your journey.
Along the journey, my family is a huge part for who I am today, because my family is a little family with a lot of smiles and a lot of love. I just really I'm here because of the family. I just want to keep that smile and keep that happiness forever. So that's my dream towards working on everything. So I just work for it. So that is what motivates me, everything going on in my life. So whatever I do, whatever the things that I started or whatever I'm doing right now, even everything for that. So that happiness is more important in my life. So they are the one who backing me up in so many hard times and good times. So talking about rugby again, from the small age, I didn't play for A division, or I didn't play for I was starting as a C team as a water boy something, and I started.
This was at the age of when?
Under 11.
Under 11. So you played under the C team at the age of 11.
Yeah, C team, and I was in the water boy list, and I was not a big player on those time, and I started my career from under 16. So that is my starting a new career for me in my life in rugby. So what rugby meant to me on that age is, I can say it's under 16. So from there only I got rugby is as a serious career in my life, and I just went through that. Before that I was playing rugby, but it's not much into the sides. But I started from under 16. I was right through under 16 I was just playing my performing. I was performing well until now.
So the silver lining in 2015 was you, under the leadership of Kevin Dixon, winning the Rugby Sevens,
Yeah.
beating Isipatana in 2015. That must have been a biggest achievement at that point of time, leading up to you being selected to play for Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that experience and tell me how you have been appointed as the captain of St. Peter's College.
Yeah, so from my small age that I had a dream to play for St. Peter's College first 15 team. So the blue white and gold jersey is it's the biggest dream that I had ever in my life. So still if I can go back and play for that jersey, then I will do anything for me. The thing is, on that point, I never thought that I'll captain St. Peter's College. But before captaining or before playing rugby, the rugby for St. Peter's first 15 team, there is much more sacrifices and much more dedications behind the scenes. You need to be full committed to what we are doing, and there is more passion, there's more love. More than that, it should be a life to get something get in a higher position on what you love. So I personally believe that if there is no talent, it's fine, but hard work beats talents when talent doesn't work hard. So I have gone through that. I'm not a very talented person in rugby, but I just worked hard for what I achieved in my life. And captaincy, just when you work hard for what you want, all the other things just fall into your laps. So I just believe like that.
Another important turning point in your career is leading Sri Lanka under 20 team at the Asian Rugby Sevens and ensuring that our country, you bring glory to our country. I don't think that the gratification can be put to words. Tell me, what is the differently that we did compared to the other teams for us to clinch victory in that particular series?
To be honest, we started from not the year of 2016. We started it from 2013. So 2013, when I was captaining the same side, the similar players were there. The same side which is playing for 2016 will be in the 2013, which we are in separate schools, but we played together on national sides. And so Omalka was my vice captain on that point also. And so the link between me and Omalka and the link between the team and me is so close. When I come to the 2016, so it's really easy for me to control or just lead that side in a very good way. So from 2013 we just ended up 2014, 15, 16. 2015 is the first year of under 20 sevens tournament that we passed. The Sri Lanka team has participated in the tournament. So on that point also I captained the side. So Malka was my vice captain on that point also. And we became the first runner-up cup on 2015. The same side went to the 2016 also. So only 2 players left from that. Other than that, the same side went on 2016. So when we know, while we are starting the 2016 tournament, we know that we'll be going to good, because we know we had the experience of playing with other countries, and we had that exposure of playing, and we had that experience, and we had that the team bond. The most important, the team bond, and the team sticking together is really in another level of which I can't explain with these interviews, because that can't be in any other team. Can just come and smash us. So that is the mentality that we had, and the friendship that we still do that friendship going along with our lives.
Who are the other players in that particular squad that you can remember contributed to?
Everyone, I can just still remember the names: Buddhima, Risa Rafaidin, Vimukti Raula, Bura, Nishon Pereira, and Omalka Gunratna, Asita Gayashan, Lasindu Ishan, and Rehan Silva, and Tariq Saleh, and Yaya, and Vimukti Raula, those kind of stuff. I can't forget the names that from that side, because that is the side that brings everything to this memorable rugby career of me. So I'm just glad that I'm part of that team.
And obviously, one point that comes to my mind is that when I had a discussion with Omalka, he said that for us to succeed as a very good national, international side, we should be training as a squad, and then we'll have to be sticking to a squad. I guess that's exactly what you did for us to clinch glory in 2016. You know, working together for about 3 years' time. You led St. Peter's at the age group levels, and then you led Sri Lanka also at the age group levels. For a fast-moving game like rugby, what is a captain's role?
So the captain's role is more different than the other sports if you compare to rugby. So rugby is all about communication and taking quick decisions, and under pressure we need to just control the game, and the commands and everything has to be. It's a huge role on the captaincy when you get the captain in rugby career. So I guess I get more support from the players. So if you get the right mindset of players of who you are playing with along, and if you get the right team, and if you are a good leader, you'll know in what situation you need to talk to the players, and in what situation you need to do the commands, and what situation you need to talk about the team moving. We can appoint separate some works player to player. We have some roles. So if we know what our roles are, then it will be more easier to the captain to control it. So the most important thing is in captaincy to give the players what is their roles and how they want to manage it, and what situation they need to run, and what decision. Then everything else will be easy in that point.
So when I spoke to the 15th national skipper Malka Gunaratne a few weeks ago, he said that we have the skill level and the speed to play sevens.
Yeah.
But when we compare overall, we have not progressed that far. What do you think that we should do as a nation for us to kind of go to that next level in terms of sevens rugby?
Yeah, the biggest problem is in Sri Lanka now is like that we are not getting any much of exposure of international tournaments or international players or international. They don't know the experience of playing in the international tournaments. So while I'm playing for school, we had Carlton Sevens, and when I left school, I went into the under 21 sevens, and right after under 21 sevens I just got selected to the national teams. So while I'm playing for national team, I was playing along with Fazil Marija, Danushka Ranjan, Roshan Veerratna, Gayan Veerratna, Dulaj Pera, some top class players. So they have more experience on that point. So that is the biggest I think thing for me to just get everything easier done, because they taught us what is and how we need to play, and how the experience they shared with us the experience and everything. So that's how we managed to do. As a nation, we need to build up and giving some exposure to the younger players who they are coming up with the rugby career. We need to give them exposures and the tournaments, and the more you play, the more you get the benefits of experience and the exposure. And the foreign exposure is more important in the rugby career to compete in international level.
You're not only a part of the sevens team, you're also part of the 15th team squad as well. At this point of time, clubs are the ones who are taking care of the players, not the rugby federation. When it comes to priorities, it creates a kind of question that comes to the player's mind. What are your thoughts on that?
So from my point of view, I guess from my small dreams, playing for St. Peter's College for 15 and playing for nationals is my goal and it's my dream. So I work towards that. So I can't choose club or nationals, or I can't just choose the both things are together. I just want to just play for nationals. That's my main goal. So I just choose only nationals for my priority. I'll just give my first priority for Sri Lanka, and then I'll just move on to whatever the clubs or whatever the things that, because it's not all about the money. It's about, I guess for me, it's more important is rugby and my dreams.
So as a Sri Lanka national player who had the privilege of representing your country at the highest level, what are your goals in the future?
So my goals, talking about my goals, are there are few goals that I need to achieve in my rugby career. I have achieved so much of even unexpected things that I achieved in my life, but I worked hard for what I achieved in my life. So playing for nationals is the best thing ever that you can feel in your life, and behind the scene you need to do so much of hard work, commitment and sacrificing and everything just that need to be that to get to this position. So the goals I have right now is like, in another 2 years that we have the Asian Games coming on the board. So I just want to just do something bigger to my country and for the rugby players that coming on in future, and I just want to do something big. I just want to get that medal, Asian Games medal to Sri Lanka, and so that will be the first ever team that getting a medal from Asian Games. So I just want to be a part of it, and I just want to do that. So that is my biggest goal right now in my life.
Indeed, it looks like a realistic goal, and we hope that you should be able to go achieve that dream, Kevin. We spoke about the goals, what you want to achieve in the future. What is your biggest accomplishment up until this time?
My biggest achievement is the under 20, obviously the under 20, the first ever cup that we brought to Sri Lanka. So that is my biggest achievement in my life. That is obviously a biggest achievement.
So Kevin, talk to me about you had a stint in New Zealand in the year of 2018, Auckland. What is that experience that you had? Can you share with us?
That is the most the experience, that is the most lovable experience on my life. That is as a rugby player you should go to New Zealand. That is another level of environment in rugby career. So that is full of rugby. New Zealand, I just went to the New Zealand. I just don't know New Zealand. I never went to the New Zealand before Auckland Blues. I was just playing for them. When I just entered into the rugby, the airport, the starting line was where are you from? I was to Sri Lanka, and they was like, why do you come here? I was like, I came for Auckland Blues or training program. Then they were like, oh, you play rugby. So who do you like in rugby? So even the airport staffs know who is playing for All Blacks and who is out from All Blacks and who is going to play, who is the debutants and everyone, because that country is full of rugby. Even you can see while you're getting out of while you're going to the home, you'll see that small kids playing rugby in the streets and small players with the rugby balls. It's every Saturday, Sunday the family goes to watch the rugby matches. That is the environment. I just enjoy that environment in my life so much, because it's wherever you turn there's rugby. So it's I just love that environment. It just motivates me to just do more in rugby career. And I went to Auckland Blues for training program, and I started playing for the Premiership club. So that gives me huge exposure on me in my life, obviously, and I learned more things as a rugby player and as new tactics and everything. And I just get that experience from New Zealand. I just came back to Sri Lanka, and I was just going through the experience right now. Still, even this, I would love to go back again one day for training programs again.
You played for Havelocks as soon as you left school. You played for St. Peter's,
yes.
Thereafter CR, and you're going to play for CHNFC. Of course, you're a national player. Who's the biggest prankster in your national squad?
There are a lot of there are few, but I just
recall one or two incidents and explain me, talk to me about.
There are few, but I guess it's more on Buddhima Piyaratna. So he's the most funniest guy and the hardest guy to control even.
So what does he do? Tell me if there's any story.
He do what we don't want to do. He always do what we don't want to do.
Can you explain me one scenario?
There are a lot of incidents, but I'll just tell one incident. I guess in Thailand match, we were playing against Thailand in under 27s. So we asked him not to play around in the middle of the field. He can play around, he can do whatever he wants in the corner of the field. So he's the player who just runs fast, cuts in, cuts out. I don't know, even he even know. I just can't even imagine that. Does he even know what he's doing in that point, in that age group? And he was a debutant on that tour. So while we asked him that, he was like, Harikevar, I will do that. Then he started doing the same thing again. he comes to the middle and just play around. Just he cuts. Loves to sidestep each player. Even to the referee he did it. Even he sidesteps over the whole team, and he just need to just score the try. So referee, and he is the one who just running through the field. He just all of a sudden he stopped. I was like, what is he doing? He stopped. He came around the referee, and he was just went and scored the try. I was like, what is he doing? Me and Omar was so pissed on that point. Even the coaches are so pissed because he's just playing around. He's just enjoying rugby. So I don't know. We get more serious on the tournament, but he just he loves to play around in the games also.
That's, I guess, what happens within the Sri Lanka National Rugby Team. I'd like to, talk about more and more stories, but, the time doesn't permit me to do so. Maybe next time. Talk to me, Kevin. Now, rugby is considered as the second most popular sport in Sri Lanka. School rugby is much more popular than the club rugby in Sri Lanka. What do you think that we should do to promote rugby in Sri Lanka?
School rugby is obviously the biggest demanding side in rugby.
Obviously, as players, you have the responsibility of performing at the highest level, and for us
to encourage, encourage. But the thing is, lot of fundings and lot of the sponsorships, lot of money is grounding on schools rugby because the schools needs to win. So they are in the segment of producing so much of rugby players in school rugby. So
and
that
the
is
rivalries that they have with the schools, so they'll have to have good players.
Good players, yeah. And for us, as a national player, I believe that we need to get more structured events coming on the nationals and the club levels, so that the school player can just willing to continue his rugby career in clubs and our national teams and everything, so that we can just build our structure more on rugby and playing more tournaments and more into rugby, just focusing on more tournaments and exposures and giving some if he is a player, then a player needs to get the right support and the right the protections and the right they need to be right at the player, so then the player can perform well. So
what do you mean by the right support? What are the elements that are included in the support?
Right support means just, so if we play for nationals and if we play for clubs and if we are willing to do the full time of rugby player, we need to just get the right sort of income and the right sort of the protein food and the looking after health wise and the hospital wise and everything. I mean, we need to get
a professional sport, which means that the player should be taken care of.
We need to get if players are getting a right future in rugby while we are playing for nationals and while we are playing for clubs and everything, then obviously the school players will see that and just they are also willing to continue that. Now what is happening is here the school boys playing for schools hard but they are not willing to continue the career in club level and national level. So that is the biggest disappointing thing that we get while we get into national teams, because the grounding is not putting upwards, because they are not willing to play. They just want to they see there is no future and they think that there is no future and they just go for to some other countries, or they do just started jobs or just do whatever they want to in the future, in the likes, the goals. So but as a player, if you get everything right, looking after the player in everything, in every possible way, then the players will willing to play on the national segment and the club leagues also.
I guess the 1996 World Cup changed the entire dimension of Sri Lanka cricket, and I guess something special is what is expected from the Sri Lanka National Rugby Team for us to get our sport, a sport that has been loved by many people, to get to the next level. Thank you very much, Kevin, for accepting my invitation and featuring on the show. It was a pleasure having you, and I wish you all the best and good luck on your future endeavors.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.